Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, afternoon, morning, night, or 3 a.m., wherever you are. Hello, my name is Caleb Holmberg, and today I have a controller to review, unbox, and disassemble. So here it is. This is the BattlerGC from Retro Fighters. I've been looking forward to reviewing this one for quite a while now. Looking forward to it coming out. So finally here it is. I'm really excited because I haven't really done a whole lot in the way of GameCube stuff on this channel. So, with that said, this may end up being a slightly longer video than usual, so feel free to skip ahead. I'm going to put chapters in the down below, so you can skip around, see what you want to see, and work on your own time. So, without further ado, let's open up this box. Well, first, I'll take a look at the box and see what this controller is all about, and pretty much go into it blind. So, this is the box, as you can see, in all of its glory. I got the orange controller, because I don't have any GameCube controllers that are orange. I always liked the orange GameCube controllers. So, we got Retro Fighters logo on the top there. So it says for GameCube, Switch, Wii, and Wii U. I assume, well, you know, I'm not sure, because it does have the Switch home button and capture button and plus and minus. So what I'm guessing is that this can either connect wirelessly to the Switch, or they probably include a receiver, something like this, to connect to the GameCube, or adapter to the Switch or Wii U, whatever. Wii, if your Wii console has a GameCube controller port. But anyway, let's see what some of the features are here. The next revolution from Retro Fighters is here. The BattlerGC is an ergonomically designed controller that is compatible with the GameCube, Wii, Wii U, Switch, and PC. The BattlerGC features pressure-sensitive analog triggers, very good, comfortable and accurate directional pad with responsive analog sticks. Take your GameCube playing experience to the next level with the 2.4 GHz wireless technology and a 10+ hour rechargeable battery. Okay, so I see some of the features here. All looks pretty promising. Wireless range of over 30 feet. That's pretty cool. I don't think I have 30 feet to go behind my TV, so this should be perfect for me. So, having seen the box, let's just tear it open. And I do have here the Wavebird wireless controller for GameCube, which to me is sort of the golden standard of controllers in the known universe, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not expecting this to be any better than this, but I am going to do a little comparing and contrasting, just because it's also a wireless controller and all that. I do wonder, does this say it has rumble? Or, oh, it does. It does have vibration feedback, so that's good. That's something that the Wavebird does not have. So, you know, I guess that's definitely something to consider. But anyway, let's open the box. I know I've been hemming and hawing and beating around the bush here. Let's not do that anymore. Is that the way I'm supposed to open it? Why don't I try from this one? Yeah, that works a little better. Really don't want to rip the box. This is a really nice box, good for display or whatever. I don't know why I'd display it, but oh, so it's a box within a box. Okay. plain white box inside there. Alright, so here is the controller inside of its protective wrapping. You have a little manual here. Is this a manual? Yeah, it has a little bit of setup instructions, how to pair, powering off. I usually try and figure that stuff out on my own, but I'm going to keep this handy just in case. This is our dongle. Plug it into the GameCube or Wii. Also, we have a USB dongle to plug into a PC or Switch. Very handy, sort of like the... Well, now my memory's sort of going because I can't remember if I finished a review for the last Retro Fighters, the PlayStation controller. What was it? The Defender, I think it was called. I'm gonna have to double check on that. If I did finish that video, you know, sometimes I'll start videos and not finish editing them or whatever, and just sort of forget about it. So I think I did finish that one though. So I will put a link to that because that's a good controller also, if you like PlayStation especially. So then we have these receivers here. What else we got? We have a USB-C cable, very good. I always like it when they include cables with the controllers instead of sort of leaving you to find one that you may have lying around. And you see, I really am proud of Retro Fighters. They've, you know, just to see how they've evolved. They've kind of made their own brand and all that. So that's pretty cool to see. Started off as a Kickstarter and now they're sort of branching out. So let's take this out of the thing. I'm really interested here. So this is the BattlerGC, and first impressions, it's very okay. I like the feel of it. I wasn't sure at first when I first saw it. I was thinking it looked like some sort of budget bargain bin plastic, but once I actually hold it in my hands, it feels really good, I would say. As far as buttons go, everything seems okay. The analog sticks feel, analog sticks, well yeah, the analog sticks do feel good. But also the triggers feel good, and it is very ergonomic. Feels very comfortable for me to hold. So I'm not sure what this little dot there is, but I might just look at the. Let's see. 17. Oh, okay. Well, must not be important. Alright. Anywho, this is the Battler. And those are my first impressions. I'm trying to decide whether I want to try it out first and then tear it apart, or tear it apart first and then try it out. I really don't want to break it when I tear it apart, but also I feel like that just makes everything a little more transparent. So, just so you guys know, I'm not taking it apart and breaking it, so I don't steer you wrong. Taking it apart if you need to. So here comes the teardown section of the video. If you want to skip this, I totally understand. Feel free to skip ahead if you desire to do so. I don't even need to tell you that, you know, you do what you want, because it's just YouTube, you know. I'm not the guy who makes the rules. So got a screwdriver here. It looks like they made it easy on me and gave me Phillips head screws. So that's what I'm gonna look for. Small, you're gonna want a small Phillips head, and there are 7 screws to unscrew. So let's do that. So having either removed or loosened the screws in the back of the controller, I'm going to attempt to separate these two shells from each other. And it seems like this is a bit similar to the Defender, because I'm gonna have to lift this and get it. No, wait. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful not to damage anything here. You're gonna have to lift it around the L2 and R2 buttons, so it just comes off like that, and there's nothing really connected. Sorry, I'm putting that really close to the camera. Not zoomed in at all. Okay, so this back panel is just one piece, which is very nice. You don't have any that gives you a lot less to worry about. I've dealt with controllers that are, you know, a lot of newer controllers have some internal components connected to both panels or both shells. So it's kind of nice to have just the one. Anywho, here is the insides of the controller. We have rumble motors on either side, either handle of the controller. These little boards, I'm going to unscrew here. We have one. We'll take this one. This is one piece right here. I'm going to take that out first because that's on top. Actually, you know what? I believe this should go to the battery. This plug here can unplug before you take everything apart. There you go. So I can unscrew the 3 screws you see here. And I don't really have anything I'm necessarily trying to get to in this controller, but I'm hoping to do just an overall teardown and reassembly just in case you need to get to something. And you know, I see a lot of parts that could be possibly replaced, or you know, if you need a new battery. Looks, well, I mean, I haven't gotten to it yet, but it looks like a pretty standard lithium battery. So if you need to replace that, I'll show you how to do that. You're gonna need to take this little thing out of there, I think. Yep. So this, if you can see that, this little black tab pulls out and just sort of goes down like that, like a hinge. And then I think this should just slide right out of there. Just be very careful and very tender with it. I'm going to take this rumble motor out with it. These rumble motors just sit in there. There's nothing holding them except they're just held in by friction by these little, they have like a felt, or what is that, like a foam padding that holds them in. So you don't need to worry about that. I'm going to push a little bit on that stick so this back panel just lifts out. This has your analog sticks on it. These are never too terribly complicated to replace as long as you can find the right part to replace. These look like pretty standard analog sticks. It's hard to tell though. It's hard for me to tell. I think the caps should just pop off, right? Usually they do. Sometimes they're glued on. Yeah, no, these did. These caps pop off. You can take those off. Replace the analog sticks if you need to, because you know those do wear out over time. They have a tendency to on most controllers if you use it over and over. Anyway, so here's this same, and you can so the way to do that, I do have a GameCube analog stick replacement tutorial I did quite a long time ago, but it's still, you know, it's still the way you're supposed to do it, and it does apply to most of these. That are pretty much the same principle. You just desolder these 6 points there, and also there should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Those, or no, sorry, these 4. 2 of them, 2 out of these 4 corners are soldered, so you're gonna unsolder, desolder those. Also, you have 4 extra holding in the button, which is for when you push down on the joystick. You see that? That's you know, an extra feature that's not on the GameCube controller, but that they added on here, which is used for the Switch and newer games. So yeah, that about covers that. And same with the right stick, or left. Would that be left or right? That would be right. Okay. So anyway, that about covers that. No, sorry. Yeah, whatever. So I'll set this aside, and let's see if we can take all the rest of this stuff out of here. I'm gonna try taking this little thread ribbon thing out of, well, first I'm gonna take this other rumble motor out, or just have that a little out of the way there. I'm gonna try and take this green ribbon thing out of here. I think there's gonna be I think this black tab is gonna pull up. Let me see. You see a lot of these. Oh yep, that pulls up, that black tab there. That pulls up. This ribbon sort of just comes out of there. And then, is this stuck? Okay, no, it's, okay, that's just held on by these tabs. Okay, the ribbon there can just sort of gently come off of there. It was held on by these little tabs on the plastic battery cover. So those can come off. Now, I'm going to unscrew. No, hold on. You know what I'm going to do is, I think I am just going to take this out, this, and this, and this, and this. All those are going to come out, or no, not these yet. I'm going to take the, because I think this gray plastic cover that also connects the L2 and R2 triggers is gonna be connected to this board here. So I'm just gonna take these 4 screws out of here. And I highly recommend getting a magnetic screwdriver, because it just makes things so much easier. You don't have screws going every which way, or at least not as much. It happens, but uh-oh, I think I'm messing up that this ribbon here. Okay, hopefully not fatally. Hopefully it's just injured, not it wasn't a casualty or anything like that. Let's just take this out, and that should do it. So let's see if I'm right about this. It appears I am not. So these 2 screws do have to come out after all. So let's go ahead and dislodge those too. That one. And I always keep my screws kind of in separate piles. I mean, a lot of these I think are the same screws that they use in the different parts, but you know, I like to know what I'm putting where, just to make sure I'm doing things right. So I'll pull this. There's these orange tabs connected to the shell that this is stuck onto, so you just pull them off straight up, and that just lifts right off of there. You can set that aside. Also, and make sure you don't let this these rumble motors just hang loose, because that could cause some stress on the solder points. Just pull this up out of there, and that there is the charging port. So you're going to want to be careful taking that out of its little spot there. Okay, so we'll set that right there, and we'll have. So let's take a look at the triggers. These are our analog triggers. We have this little green and clear. Oops, sorry, I wasn't in focus there. These are the triggers. This is some sort of wiring thingamabob. So here's your battery. If you want to replace the battery, you can probably just peel that out. It's probably, I'm pretty sure it's adhered to that with some adhered with some sort of adhesive of some type. So it might take some work to get that out. I'm not gonna pull it out right now because I don't need to, but you should just be able to pull it out, because if your battery's, you know, bad or something, you can, you know, you don't have to worry about damaging it or anything. You just throw it away and put a new one in there. But I don't think I really need to take this apart anymore. I mean, I guess these triggers could probably come off. I'll just try and carefully just snap those little pins out of the clips there. Yep, there's one. Whew. And this whole thing, you know, just always exercise caution, because there's tiny little pieces. You see this? Well, this here is like the most fragile. Well, I don't know about fragile. It's a little spring type thing that goes to the triggers. If you lose it, you're pretty much, you know, that's pretty much what we technically call you are screwed, because that is what makes the analog stick or analog trigger really work. So you got to be very careful with these small pieces. Just losing one could pretty much mess up your whole controller. So I took that off. You can get to the pad there. You can, this rubber thing, you can clean that off if you need to. Okay, it's held on by some tabs or something. Alright, I'll put this trigger back on and make sure this spring goes in place. And I'm gonna look at this side just to make sure I get this spring in the right place. And it's really hard to see, I know, because it's almost too small for my camera to focus on it, but I'm doing my best here. So that's the way it goes, if you can see that. Both sides need to clip into those clips. It's not the type of thing I feel very at ease with, but I think I got it okay. Just gonna test it a little bit, make sure that's, you know, it feels even. I do feel like there's slightly less give, slightly less tension on the one that I just replaced, which I don't know if that'll be a problem. I guess we'll find out once I go to test this thing. So, we'll see. Okay, so here's this. We'll set that aside. Also, we have this board. We've got our rubber pads for the face buttons. Speaking of face buttons, let's move on to the front shell of the controller. This part here. This has all your front buttons, the A, B, X, Y, all that. You can dump those out. You know, do whatever. Oh, these are all connected, so that's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about losing them. Also, oh, dropping stuff left and right. These triggers are those can come out. Just watch out for this little tab that holds it in. Did you see that? I hope I'm got my camera at sort of a weird angle here. I'm trying to make sure you see everything. This is your connect button, I think. I'm not going to pull that out because there's really no need to. Neither is there any need to take, well, you know, this is your indicators for whether this is first, second, third, fourth player. I'll slap that back in there. Okay, so that's basically an overview of the internal mechanics of this controller. Nothing I had any real huge trouble with taken out of there. So yeah, seems pretty straightforward. But now I'm gonna try and put it back together. So here we go. All right, I'm gonna put the buttons in there first, these plastic pieces. Match them up with the tabs on the sides so they go in all the way. Here's your directional pad. Put that in there like so. The X button and the Y button. Okay, and then we're going to put the triggers in as well. This is the R, that means it's going to go on the left since we're looking at this backwards. And the L is going to go on the right. And next I'm going to put the battery / triggers assembly in, just like it was. Oh no, hold on. Hold everything. No, before I put that on, I've got to put this back in. Sorry about that. Made a little mix up there, but at least I caught it soon enough. So the main thing you want to do when you put this back in is make sure you line up the USB-C port with its little slot in the shell there. You can see this here. This. Okay, so line that up and slide it in. It's going to go in at a little bit of an angle, but not too extreme. Okay, easy does it. Just sort of push it in, make sure it's in there securely, all the way down. Make sure all the buttons are pressing all the way down. I feel like I'm not quite in all the way down. No, I think it's good. I think it's all right. Although I do feel like these are kind of shaken. But I'm sure it'll get a little tighter as I tighten the screws. Anyway, I'll put the rumble motor back in its place. How did that go? Like this. There's a little slot there for the wire that goes in there. Okay, that looks good. Next, I will put the battery assembly on like this. Well, I guess the landmarks you want to look for here are these. Those holes there go onto this. On this side, it's that one. On this side, it's this one. So, oops. Yeesh. You gotta be careful here. So, put that on there. And make sure we're lining everything up. Put that on there. And just push it down ever so gently. Ever so carefully. I think I'm gonna a little bit. Maybe not quite in all the way with this USB-C port actually. I'm gonna just pull this out again. Okay. And you know, every controller you take apart is going to have its own little quirks. Even if it's two of the same controller for the same system, you know, it'll always be a little bit different from the last one. At least as far as I've experienced. That's usually the way it goes. There's always something you didn't expect. Which to me, right now, is that this board doesn't seem to want to slide back in very easily. But we'll figure it out. I don't think I had this R trigger ZR trigger, I should say, pressed in all the way, so that could have something to do with it. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Oh yeah, that's the way it goes. Alright. So make sure your triggers are down all the way before you put this board in there. Next, like I said, gotta get that rumbler in there. And now I'm gonna just slide this on like I said I was gonna do earlier. Just like that. And make sure this ribbon is sort of connected on these tabs, these gray plastic tabs on this battery cover. You might need to use a screwdriver or something. No, you can just push them on there. Yeah, just push them in there. Okay, that's perfect. Then I'm gonna put this little ribbon, the end of it, back in the port there. Make sure this is pulled up so you can push it down when it goes in, when the ribbon goes in, that is. So this should just go right down in there, and then oh, didn't get it in quite all the way. This thing is being just a little bit stubborn. Maybe just wiggle it around. See if we can... There it goes. Okay, so it takes a bit of fiddling it around in there to get it to slide in all the way, but there it goes. Let me just... Yeah, those were coming off for a second there. Okay, and then we have to do... What do we have to do? Well, next thing we have to do is going to be to put these screws back in on the light gray plastic piece here. There's one right here. Oops. And one on the other side. Okay, now I have what? Now I have these four that are going to go and secure this circuit board like so. Alright, next we need to put the analog sticks back in place, which is going to go like this way, is how it's going to go in. And make sure this little wire is over the board as you're putting it in. Like that. Don't want that to get stuck underneath, because that's going to need to get plugged in. just again, can't stress this enough. Be very careful as you apply pressure to put these things together, because these are some fragile parts. Okay, hold on. Make sure this ain't. Okay, I'm gonna pull this ribbon up over this tab if I can do that. Yes. Okay. Alright, there we go. Make sure this goes, everything goes down, and alright. And you want to make sure all the tabs and all of the screws and all the, all the little holes line up. And that feels pretty secure. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. So I'm going to put this rumble motor back in place here. Somehow, how does that go? I think it's this way. Yes, that's the way. And it doesn't matter a whole lot, because I mean, as long as the rumble motor is in there, it's gonna rumble and vibrate the controller. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to plug this battery into the board there. That should just snap in. Okay, now we're ready to screw this back in. Oops. Oh, hold on. Got the wrong screw pile. These three. There we go. Alright, and now I'm going to slide this little blue thing back in. And these, this little plastic, I keep calling it a ribbon. I don't know if that's the technical term. It probably isn't, but I'm going to keep calling that because I don't know what it's called. That keeps coming out of its place, so you might have to push that in a few times. This little black tab needs to lift up again. Then the blue strip there should just slide in, I think. It's hard to... Oh, okay, so you can tell when it's working because the red lights there will light up for the indicator of the player. And once you've got it lined up, you should be able to push that black tab down and should be all set. And the key word there is should, because this is, you know, I'm not sure if all that fiddling around and moving stuff inside the controller messed it up at all, but we will see. And if you want to, you know, if you are taking this thing apart, I would probably advise watching this whole video and seeing whether I actually am able to take it apart and put it together without breaking it, just so you know whether or not to follow my advice. Alright. So I can see that this back panel might take a little bit of messing with to get it to fit on, but no, maybe not quite so much as I thought. Okay, alright. Feels good, feels pretty good to me. Alright, now let's screw the screws back in and be done with the teardown portion of the video. Okay, there you have it. that's the disassembly and reassembly, and everything seems to be functioning properly. We'll really find out once I'll really find out once I start the game, which is going to come next. Okay, so I have my trusty GameCube with where did I put the game? One of my favorite games, Super Mario Sunshine, and I'm going to play a little bit of that and test this controller, giving my honest feedback on how I feel playing it, how it performs. So let's get on to that. And I might just do some comparing and contrasting with Wavebird, just to see what I think about the difference. So let's just go ahead and kick back, grab a Zevia 0-calorie creamy root beer, and just get right into it. Alright, we want AV, and I'm going to use this. Now, one thing I'm not sure about is how this would work with multiple players, because on the Wavebird you have, and again, this is, well, not again, I didn't say this before, but this is a lot older than this, so I don't know, wireless technology I'm sure is a bit different, but this one had channels, you see. You could set it to 1 through 16 and set the controller to match it, so that there's one receiver paired to one controller at any time. So, you know, it's a little bit more concrete and easier to connect. So I'm just not sure how this is going to work. Hopefully it will be okay. Let's let me just show what I'm doing here. Let me just plug this into the GameCube, and I'm assuming I'm just gonna push the home button and see. Well, no, I'm probably actually, well, let's refer to the manual. Okay, that's probably a good idea. How to pair. Insert the dongle into the controller port. Press the home button. 4 LEDs flash. Press the back pairing button to automatically pair the controller. Okay. Okay, I pressed the back pairing button. Let's try it again. Maybe I have to push these at the same time. No, wait. Duh. Okay, hold on. I didn't turn the GameCube on yet. Alright. That's a bit loud. The disc could not be. Hold on. Don't you tell me my Super Mario Sunshine is not working anymore. Alright, maybe I didn't have it in all the way or something. Okay. Well, it looks like my controller paired just fine. Alright, so, phew, now I'm relieved that my Super Mario Sunshine isn't deprecated, or whatever the word is. So, what button is going to be the start? I'm assuming it's the home. Let's see, 18. Okay, yep. It's gonna be GameCube, so it's gonna be start. So, home button is a start button for GameCube. Alright, So, whoa, that is loud. Hold on. Turn that volume down. Alright, that's good. So, let me see here. Trying to get my thoughts organized on how I feel about this controller. I want to make sure you guys can see my hands here. And I mean, as far as joysticks go, the sensitivity feels pretty good. And I'm only on the level selection screens right now, so hard to tell. But alright. So far, very responsive. Very, you know, very much works as it should. All the buttons work. I guess I don't really need to use the D-pad at all. But, I mean, let's see. Well, it works for the pause menu. How about the map works? Yeah, everything seems good. So the on GameCube, here's the original. You only have the Z button, as far as you have their L and R buttons, and then you have the Z button. You don't have another trigger over here, which honestly was a lot simpler. But you know, that's a whole different can of worms to talk about. But this has the L1 and R1, and then the two sets. Well, I guess there's just two sets of triggers. The top ones are both wired to the Z button on the GameCube. The GameCube reads both the top triggers as Z, so that's something good to remember, I guess. And I guess it gives you the option of using either, which is kind of nice. I guess I could see that being good. Good to just have that option. Ooh. Alright, why don't I just go grab Yoshi real quick, and you know, I'm just trying to get a feel for this. You know, so far it feels pretty much legit. Like, the joysticks have barely, like, there's no dead zone hardly. They're very, very sensitive, very responsive. I like it a lot. Just about everything I would expect. And it's got rumble, which is super nice. I'm just, yeah, like I said, I'm just a little bit confused, like, how would pairing multiple work? So, the only real issue I have here, and this is 100% a matter of preference, is the buttons are just the slightest bit clicky. If you've been on this channel, if you've been watching this channel for a little bit, all 50 of you, or however many of you there are, you'll know that I'm not a big fan of buttons that have a little bit more resistance. I like them to just, you know, take the least amount of pressure possible to get the button to press. But you know, it could be a lot worse. It's, of all the clicky buttons I've felt, these are pretty low on the spectrum. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. This is overall a really solid controller, and I could see it being really good for just about any GameCube game, or, you know, for that matter, Switch game, if you don't mind the GameCube button layout. I could see it being great for Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart. Yeah, really anything. Is it as good as the Wavebird? I'm not sure. If the Wavebird had rumble, I would say it wouldn't be as good. But you know, I think it's, considering the overall good versus bad, and just, you know, there's different strengths and weaknesses to each one. I'd probably give them an equal rating, if you can believe it. Other than being a little uncertain about the multiplayer, but I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure the programmers at Retro Fighters figured out a way to use these controllers with multiple players. I mean, how could they not think about that? Certainly hope they did. Well, unless you guys want to watch me play Super Mario Sunshine for another hour, then I suppose I will call this the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you're looking for a GameCube controller, I highly recommend this one. There's nothing wrong with it. It's solid, and it's got all the features you'll possibly need, really. Or for that matter, if you're looking for a Switch controller too. Although this wouldn't have motion controls, if that's something you would need. So yeah, just take that into account. But as far as GameCube controllers go, this is certainly the first third-party GameCube controller that I have actually liked. So that's a bit refreshing to see. Let's see if I can do this glitch. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, what's going on? Okay, well, with that, I am going to call this the end of the video. Like it if you liked it, and share it if you think anybody else would be helped by it, or yeah, subscribe if you'd like to see more. I can't promise to do videos regularly because I'm rather busy with other things, and it's can get a bit tricky to find things to review or tear down. It's hard to find new ideas, but you know, if I get more subscribers, and that'll tell me whether or not people are interested. So, but I plan to keep it up one way or another, whether I see people like them or not. I do like doing this, and I appreciate you all for watching. Can't remember exactly how long I've been at it, but it's been a few years now, and it's been a lot of fun. Anyway, that's about it. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.